With the rise of new technologies and innovation in America, the industrial era shaped America's economy, and industrialization was considered to be the backbone of the economy. Industrialization allowed for the great efficiency of goods produced, allowing the access of goods to become easier. Although industrialization brought many fruitful benefits to society in terms of economic and product efficiency, it also created many flaws within American society. For example, industrialization created a great wealth gap between the rich and poor, and it had working conditions that mimicked the harsh conditions of slavery. The difficulties that arose from industrialization created tension in American society, as workers wanted to acquire better working conditions, higher pay, and equality between wages of men, women, and children. However, on the contrary, the elites were in favor of industrialization because it provided them with both economic and product efficiency. A key component of the industrial age was The Wealth of Nations, a novel written by Adam Smith, which officially marked the first time America switched from mercantilism to capitalism, which was a revolutionary step forward, as it argued how capitalism would ignite the innovative minds of people, allowing them to achieve the best possible product. The main aspect associated with the Industrial Revolution was that companies and individuals were attempting to eliminate each other through competition so that they could gain the most capital for their respective companies. The primary method of eliminating competition would be for businessmen to monopolize a specific product to dominate the market. People like Andrew Carnegie, John Rockefeller, and J.P. Morgan were able to dominate the American market and eliminate all of the competition they received from small businesses. They had a goal of expansion to create money, and they put all their attention to this goal. Carnegie was a wealthy white businessman who got involved in the steel industry. Carnegie practiced vertical integration by eliminating his competition in the steel industry by buying out the suppliers of all his raw materials so that he could have complete control of the steel market. Carnegie Steel Company became so efficient that it could produce 2,000 tons of metal per day and completely control the steel industry. Similarly, John Rockefeller, another wealthy businessman, practiced horizontal integration to completely control the oil industry in America. Rockefeller's plan to monopolize oil was unlike any other, as his product stressed the fact that he could buy out other oil companies entirely by sending spies out to find their expansion plans. Before a company could expand, he would buy them out, and that is the way he controlled the market. Rockefeller Standard Oil Company at its height controlled 90% of the oil used in America. At that point, Rockefeller was considered the king of oil. Lastly, J.P. Morgan, another wealthy businessman, created an interlocking of directorates in which he saw many of the banks in American society as disorganized, and therefore wanted to centralize the power of the banks into one powerful bank. To do this, Morgan sent many of his to different banks to control their boards, and therefore he had a say in their decision making. Therefore, when he wanted to invest in such companies such as Carnegie Steel Company, he had the approval he needed because of the influence he had over all the banks. Although there were many benefits to industrialization, it also caused many problems in American society because the focus of big businesses was to eliminate all the competition they had. Workers, out of desperation, had to deal with the low wages, harsh working conditions, and unfair treatment they received despite all the profits these workers brought the industries. After workers received constant hardships in the working industry due to the government's laissez-faire policy of not intervening with the business's plans, the workers grew tired of the big businesses and how they treated them. This caused the workers to strike and revolt against the large businesses through unions. The Homestead Steel Strike of 1892 revolted against Carnegie's factory's working conditions, and there were many people who experienced injury or mortality in his factory because of his working conditions. Also, the Pullman Strike of 1894 was instigated by workers who felt that the Pullman Car Company was treating them unjustly, as workers believed Pullman was overcharging them for a place for workers to live with their families, and because of his reduction of their income by 25%, the workers thought they would never be able to recover from this massive amount of debt. Along with the many strikes and revolts against the unfairness of operations of big businesses, such as their monopolization of goods to control the economy, the manipulation of workers, desperation, and the unfair treatment of workers in terms of poor working conditions, low wages, inequality, and inequalities between wages, these businesses were faced with a lot of resistance, such as the AFL, the IWW, and the Knights of Labor. All three of these resistances made an attempt to better working conditions and wages of workers. They believed if they were able to eliminate the workers' problems with harsh working conditions, low wages, long hours, and inequality between wages, and the overall life of the workers would improve. However, this wasn't the case as the government practiced laissez-faire. Therefore, big businesses could continue the manipulation of their workers, specifically shown after the Homestead Act when the government didn't get involved and Carnegie continued his harsh working conditions in his factory.